Hi guys and welcome back to my channel, Bookish Drama. My name is Ethan and today I am bringing you a mashup video. I am going to be talking about NaNoWriMo. I'm going to also talk to you about the books I read in October, so my October wrap-up, and also my November TBR. So yeah, let's get started. First of all, I want to tell you that I am going to be participating in NaNoWriMo National Novel Writing Month. I am not going to be trying to write 50,000 words, which is the goal of most people. I'm just going to try to write a short story. When I was in high school, I used to write short stories in Spanish to participate in writing contests in my high school, but it's been a while since I've written one, and I want to write one in English, so it's going to be a challenge for me, really, and I want to read the story to you at the end of the month. Yes, I'm going to do that. Today it is October 30th and I have already started writing it. I am like halfway through. I want it to be just a couple pages long, very short, but to the point, very whimsical. You'll see. It is kind of fantasy. So yeah, I hope you are excited for that video. If we move on to the October wrap-up, first of all, I have a book that I DNF'd. I am talking about Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor. I was participating in the Booktube Reads Read Along. We were going to be reading the 3 books, but I DNF'd this one, so I'm not going to be continuing, sadly. I did not like this book at all. I got to page 210, so halfway through. I am not going to take my bookmark of the book because I'm not going to be continuing it. You also have my thoughts at the end of the last reading vlog I uploaded, so that will be popping up here as well, but I'm going to try to summarize a little bit my thoughts. So first of all, this book reminded me a lot of another book I read and hated that was not fun at all. I also didn't like that the author introduced fantasy terms that she invented and she didn't explain them until 100 pages later, and I didn't know what those terms meant, so I was completely lost. Not that lost, but you know, I like to know what I am reading, and I wasn't understanding what she was talking about. And last of all, there was Insta-Love, and it was very cheesy. The last page I read was like this. I'm going to read you a quote because it was awful. And I saw a girl with black eyes and gemstone hair. And sadness. She had a sadness that was so deep, but it still could turn into light in a second, and when I saw her smile, I wondered what it would be like to make her smile. I thought it would be like the discovery of smiling. Not for me. Bye. The 4 books I finished this month were 2 novellas and 2 full-length books. So first of all, I'm going to start with a novella that was included in Arcanum Unbounded by Brandon Sanderson. The novella is Shadows for Silence in the Forest of Hell. And I loved it. It was wonderful. Probably my favorite novella written by Brandon Sanderson. It was everything I wanted in a novella, just perfect. It was basically about a high fantasy bounty hunter. Yes. It is set in a world where there is a creature that is particularly dangerous in the nighttime, and you have to try to avoid spilling blood, running in the night. There are some rules that you get in the story, and it was amazing, wonderful. I want a full-length novel set in that world because it was incredible and I want more development. There is a lot of potential there and I just want to see more. It was very fast-paced and you are left wanting a lot more. The main character in this is badass as well, and the novella was included in the anthology Dangerous Women, compiled by George R.R. Martin, so you can also find it there. The next book I read was a reread for me, and it was Clockwork Princess by Cassandra Clare, the 3rd and last novel in the Infernal Devices trilogy. Where do I begin? I liked this book a lot less than I did the first time. I found that it was very slow and that not a lot of things happened here. But the end broke my heart. In my latest reading vlog, I vlogged how I bawled my eyes out reading the epilogue of this novel, just as the first time I did, because in the end I loved it, but throughout the novel, I felt it was very simple and not as good as I remembered. Also, there was a death in this novel that I was very affected by the first time I read it, but this time around, I did not feel that connection to that character for some reason I don't understand. Throughout the book, I felt kind of disconnected. I loved that throughout the book, you had letters from the council to certain characters. It was very interesting to see that perspective. I really encourage you guys to pick this book up because the first read is very impactful. As I already knew what was going to happen, I wasn't that shocked, but the first time, oh my god, like I cannot explain how good this book was the first time. I was planning to read a quote from each book that I read. Maybe I will implement that in the future, but the only one I tapped right now is not a quote, it is a scene, so I'm not going to be doing that with this book. Maybe with the next one I will. Then we have Down Among Sticks and Bones by Shannon Maguire. This is the second novella in the Wayward Children series. I liked this second novella a little bit less than the first one again. There was a lack of plot. It felt short. The first one was action-packed and a lot of things happened, but in this one there is not a real plot to it. I finished it and I wanted more development of the characters and the world. The ending didn't really make sense, but the writing in this novel is amazing. It is so beautiful. Just as in the first novella, there are a lot of great quotes and amazing lessons to be learned. I also related a lot to our main character, Jack. She's afraid of dirt and of touching things, and that is so me. I have a problem with that too. I wash my hands like crazy, and in the winter I end up with all my knuckles covered in blood because I wash my hands too much and it is cold outside, so my hands end up in a pretty bad condition. So I related to her a lot, and I love to see that kind of representation. She also loves science, and as a science major, I just related to her a lot. Our personalities are very similar, and yeah, I am going to read you a quote from this novel. It is very short but very atmospheric, I would say. So it goes like that. They run and the crowd pursues, and the rising mood observes, for the tale is almost ending. The last book I read this month was A Conjuring of Light by V.E. Schwab, the last book in the A Darker Shade of Magic trilogy. I was reading this for the A Darker Shade of Read-alongs hosted by Commons Pen. I quite liked this book. I gave it 4 stars. This series wasn't my favorite. Overall, I would give it 4 stars, and this was quite good in the middle, but I didn't like the beginning or the ending. The best thing about these books are the characters. You end up loving all of them, or almost all of them, but I had some problems with this. The beginning and the ending, which were the battles with our villain, were very dull to read, mainly because this villain is very random. He hasn't have any depth or any reason to be evil, so I don't get what he's trying to do. He just has no motivations, which is not good. There were some parts of the world building that were really well done, but others were lacking a bit. And also, Victoria Schwab doesn't refresh you on what happened on the previous novels, and there were some times that I didn't remember what had happened, so a little bit of information from the previous books could have been included here. In this book, we also get flashbacks from Holland, and I love that. They made me fall in love with this character. He's a morally great character, which I love personally, and yeah, he's awesome. I also love Lila. I am going to be doing a tag about these books in the near future, so keep your eyes open for that if you have read these books. I am going to be doing this tag with some awesome people, so I hope you guys are excited for that. Those were all the books I read in October, so now I am moving on to the books I want to read in November. First of all, I want to mention the books that I am currently reading. The first one is And the Ocean Was Our Sky by Patrick Ness. It is a very short book and full of illustrations. Here you can see one of them. I love this author and I want to love this book, but it is not as great as I thought it would be. I will talk a little bit more about this in the wrap-up for November. The other book I am currently reading is Words of Radiance by Brandon Sanderson. Here is my US mass market paperback, although I am reading my Spanish copy. This is a hardback, and it is a gigantic book. I am only on page 160 from 1300 pages. Yes. I want to finish this book in November because I started it in the middle of October and I am only 100 pages in, so I need to finish this month. Yes. Hi guys, it is the next day, and obviously I forgot to film something for this video. Basically, my most anticipated book of the year is being released in November, and it is obviously on my November TBR, so why did not I mention it yesterday when I was filming this video? I don't know either. So yeah, I'm going to mention it right now. So my most anticipated book of the year, as you may guess, is Skyward by Brandon Sanderson. A sci-fi novel, YA. Actually, I started reading it yesterday. I read the first page or something because the first few chapters have been published online before the release, so you can read that. I am going to read them before the book is published, hopefully. The release date is November 6th. And I'm going to read it as soon as it comes out. So I am going to binge that book because I do not want to get spoiled. It is my most anticipated book of the year. It is going to be amazing. By what I could read yesterday, it is basically a world where people live under the surface because there is some kind of creature that makes the surface of the planet not habitable. So yeah, and basically the first scene is the main girl going to the surface for the first time when she is a child. It sounds amazing. It is going to be amazing. I hope you guys pick it up, please and thank you. You're not going to regret reading a Brandon Sanderson book. Please, thank you. Yeah. Bye. Next up, I also want to continue with The Mortal Instruments with City of Heavenly Fire. As you may know, I have been rereading all of Cassandra Clare's Shadowhunters books, and this is the first one that is not a reread. I never finished The Mortal Instruments, and now it is finally time for me to do so. I am very excited, although this book is very long as well, and I don't know if I am going to have time to pick this book up. Another series I have to continue is Throne of Glass with Crown of Midnight by Sarah J. Maas. I reread the first book in September, and now it is finally time to pick this second book up. With the release of the last book, this series has gotten a lot of hype lately, and I want to jump into the wagon. These are the books that I am planning to read, although I feel like I have been reading the same type of books lately, and I want to branch out, so maybe I will read a mystery or a sci-fi. I have some of those. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. To know what I ended up reading, you'll have to stay tuned for next month's wrap-up. So go click the subscribe button, the notification bell, give this video a thumbs up, and all of that. You also have links to all of my social media down in the description below. So yeah, that is all. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on my next video. Bye!